Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Will and Wise, the Dog Show Drive.
Canadian edition.
I'm Will Alexander,
And I'm Y.
and on this week's Dog Show Drive, we're going to talk about last week's question of the week. When we asked what could the parent clubs, AKC and CKC, do to promote registration, and we got a huge response. So I
Huge.
think we hit a nerve. So then we're going to have John Atkinson on from the CKC. He's director of Advocacy and Communications, and lo and behold, he's going to answer much of those questions.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And then this week's question of the week was, do you think the CKC would benefit from having an owner handler series the same way the AKC does, which has gone
Yes.
over hugely down there? So that'll be interesting to see what kind of response we get there. And we have a new feature for everybody from the archives of Kennel and Bench, and all that and more on this
And
week's
more.
and more on this week's edition of Will and Wise, the Dog Show Drive, and our new song. All right. Excellent.
Yeah, excellent. Party on.
What a
That was
great
awesome.
song.
It really is.
All right.
Yeah.
That's our new theme song.
It is our new theme
Yeah,
song.
and I can't thank Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler enough, and
No.
performed by Blue Rodeo. But they released it to us, little old us, the
A
Dog Show
little old
Drive.
us.
We get Head Over Heels by Blue Rodeo. I
Yep.
think we've made it, Yvonne. I think we've made
We've
it.
made it. We have our own theme song from real
I
live
had goosebumps.
musicians.
Look at that. All right.
Yes. That was awesome.
That's it for today, folks. That's
Yep.
all we have.
Have a good day.
Oh, it's so exciting though. I couldn't
So
wait.
exciting. Oh, we're so Canadian.
Oh, we are. We are.
We are.
That's why we love Blue Rodeo though. That's
That
why.
is why. That is why. So, what else were you up to this weekend, William?
Well, I didn't go anywhere this weekend. I stayed home. Did I
Oh,
set
you
the
had a
timer?
Yvonne weekend.
I had an Yvonne weekend. I forgot to start. Okay, set the timer. Um, I didn't do anything. I worked around the house.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm cleaning out my basement. I have all kinds of dog art, like all
Yeah.
kinds of dog art.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and I've decided that the ones that I don't use a lot, I'm gonna sell. So I've been putting them on Marketplace, and they've been going pretty well.
Ooh.
And then I put up these two horse and hound prints, which I was very fond of, but I just don't have room for them. Only so many walls in your house.
Yep.
So I put them on Marketplace, and right away I got a bless you.
Thank you.
It's so good looking.
Ooh, that hurt my head.
Um, hope people got that Seinfeld
Uh,
thing. Anyway, I put them on Facebook Marketplace, and I got a lots of response right away. And one said, "I really like these. Too bad I'm so far away." I'm thinking, oh, well, I messaged back. Well, how far away are you? And they messaged back, I'm in Montreal. Will, it's John Kerr.
ooh, John Kerr.
I
Ah,
remember John Kerr.
a blast from the past.
Yeah, he dated our great friend Lori Govan for a longest time.
Yeah.
And he was a great terrier guy too.
Yeah.
He had Wire Fox terriers, and a few years ago we got a I was when I was transporting, I picked up a Welsh Terrier for him,
Oh,
and
nice.
but he was very talented.
Hmm.
For someone that really didn't take it, you know,
Yeah.
he didn't go and get educated by anybody. He just learned how to do these terriers, and so
Hmm.
yeah, he's getting them at Hochelaga. I'm
Oh,
gonna get
good.
I'm getting the two prints sent down to Hochelaga, and John's getting them. So
Oh,
it
that's
was,
nice.
it,
Well,
yeah,
oh,
it was great. I hope we get to see him at some point because I haven't seen him in so long. But what a great guy! He really was a
yeah.
great guy. Yeah,
Well, that's
yeah.
awesome.
That
Oh.
was my weekend. I've been just doing those things, and I started a garden too on my deck. I started. I didn't want to go too in, so I started a bucket garden. You know how you do the 5
Yeah.
gallon bucket,
Yep.
and I
Ease
did a bunch
yourself
of those.
into it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've done potatoes and strawberries and peas and what else did I do?
Tomatoes,
Tomatoes and tomatoes. I
tomatoes.
always think of Rick Jasudi when I say tomatoes. And basil and mint.
Mint, right? Mint.
Mint is very invasive, but I put it in its own because apparently basil and mint will keep some critters away from your
Oh, will they?
garden. Yeah,
Hmm. Interesting.
yeah.
Yes.
So that's what
I,
I was doing.
oh, okay. I I'm still studying for my exam.
Oh yes, your
Yes,
exam.
my exam.
Yes.
Eventually it'll get done. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then my Hopi left me because she
Where
went
did Hopi go?
Hopi Popey went to she's a park warden. So
Oh
she goes,
yeah, like
yeah.
Yogi. Good one,
Yes,
Yogi.
exactly like Yogi. Um, she doesn't get to carry a gun.
Hold on there, Bubba
I'll be
Louie.
doing the thinking around here. So she doesn't get to carry a gun. She doesn't get to carry a taser. She does get to carry bear spray though.
Does she have a pocket protector?
I don't think so. Not on this one. And I think she
See,
has a good,
when my buddy Norm got a job at the Millbrook jail, that's all he got was a pocket
good
protector.
protector. As long as you can protect your pocket. Oops.
He
Don't
kept
cover up
putting
my shirt.
pens in it.
Yeah. And so she left. She stays out there. It's just over an hour or so. And they have accommodations for their park wardens.
Oh
So
wow! Now does she stay there all summer now?
well, she'll stay out there while she's on shift, and then she comes back into town, does her laundry, does some grocery shopping, and then leaves again. So
That's kind of exciting though. I wish I
yeah,
was that age and still doing those things.
she loved it last year, and so
Yeah.
and she's finished college now, so it's her job. So for right now, and
I'm
then
almost finished college.
yeah, you and I both, and then oh, and then and on Sunday was Mother's Day.
Oh yes, I went and had.
Yeah,
Oh, I should have said something.
yeah,
I
you
my
should have.
mother and I, my mother and I went to the Mandarin for brunch.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, how
for
was that?
brunch. It was overwhelming.
I bet.
It was so busy.
I
It was
bet.
crazy busy, and they had to give you a ticket when you parked because
It was like
they
valet parking.
oh no, they just wanted to know who was there for the Mandarin and not for the Mandarin. And then
Yeah.
most of the parking lot, like they must make a killing
Oh, I would
on
think so.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, I would
And
think so.
and the food, oh my God, I didn't have to eat until the next day.
That's odd
Yeah.
for Chinese food.
Well, it's not just Chinese food though. They have
They have
everything there.
everything now.
Everything there
What do they
at the
call it?
Mandarin.
What do they say on most of those like Chinese restaurants? And it was like Chinese American cuisine. It's everything.
Everything.
So I had my mother over for supper.
Oh,
I
did
thought I
you?
was going to have a nice day all by myself. I was so looking forward to it.
Because you yourself are a mother. So you should
I
have had
am
a
a
day for
mother.
yourself.
I am the mother of things. Yes, the girls. Um, but I called my mom. Uh, Darren was supposed to go out to camp, but he didn't. And in Northern Ontario, we call it camp. You guys call it cottage.
Cottage.
Out
Yeah.
west, they call it the cabin, whatever. It's all the same thing. So, he was going to go out to camp to put the docks out and everything, but there was a really bad accident on our highway and it was closed. And then he just,
Moose.
no,
Hey,
it's
Rocky.
it's a very sad, tragic story. And
I know I heard.
it's a consistent one here in this area. Transport head on with a car, killed a 17-year-old kid. It was terrible.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So he decided he didn't feel like going out to camp. And so he was home. So he decided that we should have dinner. And then I called my mom and she came over. So it was lovely. It was just the three of us because Faith
Did
is
you bring French onion soup?
no, she didn't. I couldn't remember to tell her that. I'm going to tell her that next time.
Excellent.
You want to come for dinner, mom? You got to bring something.
French onion soup.
Yeah. So that was all. And that was it. That's all I did. And then I've got to, I feel, I don't feel very good right now. Well, not terrible, but I got a little bit of a scratchy throat and
Yeah.
I'm very crabby about that. I'd rather have a bad cough than a scratchy throat. That's just me. I hate it. So if you see me drinking more tea than normal or not talking, no, just joking.
That's not happening.
That's not happening.
I
Anyway,
feel
well,
anyway. Yeah, I feel pretty good. I have a follow-up next week with my surgeon, so
Oh, good.
I get to find out what the next step is. So
Oh, that's good. Because not knowing is like crap.
it is. I'm looking forward to knowing.
Yeah.
So I put it on my calendar like Christmas.
We like to have a date. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Oh, good. Let's go.
Anyway, let's
Let's go
carry on.
across Canada. Let's go across Canada. Driven by Show Scene magazine, where every dog takes center stage. And our first show up is the Tyee Kennel Club, and that was on the 8th through the 11th in Duncan, BC. And
Duncan,
that was
BC is the hometown of Allison Alexander.
this is true. Friend of the show,
Friend of the show, Allison
Alison
Alexander.
Alexander. And on Best in Show judge on Thursday was Todd Foley from Nova Scotia with 194 dogs. Friday was Melody Roth from Ontario with 218 dogs. Saturday's Best in Show was John Burgess from Australia with 252 dogs. And Sunday's show was Michael Yates, also from Australia, with 231 dogs. And other judges that were on assignment there were Murray Clark, friend of the show.
Oh, friend of the show, Murray Clark.
Yeah, from Ontario. Laurel Depchuk from BC. Margaret Jones as the same. And Wendy Maisie from Alberta. And Vicky Yates, also from Australia. So
Wow.
those entries, they were down. They were definitely down.
Yes, they were down a
So
lot.
yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why they were down so much. If anybody has any reasons or answers for why the shows are
Yeah.
down, please tell us and we will make adjustments next week to let people know what happened.
Yeah. Well, they think what they think happened anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Sometimes things happen that sometimes you can't control. So
Right.
yeah. Then our next show, the 9th through the 11th, was the Nipissing Kennel Club held in Sturgeon Falls, Ontario. And that was 2 shows a day. So on Friday, the first show was judged by Jean-Christophe. How do you say? J-
Boulinges.
JC.
Boulinges.
Yeah,
JC Boulinges.
JC.
Boulinges.
And from Quebec, and he had 134 dogs. Patricia Langto from Ontario, 132 dogs. And then on Saturday, the first show was Joy Lynn Huntley from Ontario.
Who is a listener of the show. Joy Lynn
Listener.
Huntley is a big
Nice.
listener of the show.
Oh, excellent. Well, I hope you had a good weekend, Joy. And she had 147 dogs. And then show number 4 was Corinne Walker, our CKC chairperson of the board, I should say, from Manitoba with
Called
141.
Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry.
Oh boy, oh boy. She had 141 dogs. And then the final day, there was this guy named Stephen Denard,
Yeah.
and he judged, and he had 130 dogs.
You know what
And
he's like?
yeah, I don't know. I heard he's tall,
He's tall.
tall. And then the last show was judged by Wendy Anderson from
Oh,
Newfoundland.
friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Very
Yeah.
nice lady, Wendy
Yeah.
Anderson.
She is
And
lovely.
she had 123 dogs. And there were some other judges there on assignment. Oh, my good friend, Joe DeLeo, right here
Yeah.
from Thunder Bay.
Thunder
Ann
Bay.
Hewison from Ontario. And Penny
Yeah.
Lewis, also friend
Oh,
of the
Penny Lewis.
show.
Penny Lewis and I share the same birth date.
Oh, do you know?
We do. We
I'm
wish
gonna
each
make
other happy birthday on April 10th every year.
I'm gonna make a note of that. April
Yeah.
10th. Okay, there we go. And the entries they were relatively well, they're down a little bit.
They were down, yeah.
Yeah, they were down a little bit too. So, anyway, carrying on to Calgary Kennel and Obedience Club. Uh, the May 9th to 11th, and there was a 3-day show. Friday's best in show was Dr. Terrell Udenberg from BC. He had 348 dogs. Saturday's best in show was Brian Meyer from Illinois. I like the Myers.
Oh, yeah.
383 dogs, and Sunday was his wife Cindy, and she had 376 dogs. Other judges that were on assignment there were Sean Bennett from
Friend of the
Manitoba,
show.
friend
Yeah.
of the show, Terry Gaines from BC, Tanis Posma from Alberta, and Mel and Linda Saranchuk from Alberta. And very good English setter people too, I have to say.
And their entries look like they were up.
Up. They were
Yeah.
up. Definitely up.
So
Shoo,
we should have
shoo.
a button that does a green light or something like that.
Yeah.
Yay!
Beep, beep, beep.
Entries are up. Entries
Yeah.
are up.
Megan, get on that. We need some
Prices
visual.
slash. Prices slash. No whammies. Big bucks. No
No
whammies.
whammies. I used to love that show. I had to go into town to watch it because we didn't get that. We didn't have cable in the country.
You just stand on the street and look through the glass of the TV store.
No, my grandparents lived in
Oh,
town.
okay. All right.
Okay. And then the final show of the weekend was the Dartmouth Kennel Club, and that was held on the 10th and the 11th in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And that was a 2 day, two show a day. You know what I'm trying to say. So the
Yeah.
first show was Kim Remy LeBlanc from Ontario with 129 dogs. Pat Taylor from Manitoba with 133 dogs. And then on the Sunday, Linda St. Hilaire from Quebec with 132 dogs. And Dr. Gail Forsyth from Alberta with 129 dogs. And those seem to be up.
Yeah, also on the panel was Mary Spinelli from Nova Scotia.
Yes, Mary Spinelli.
But
I was
yeah,
like,
entries were up, and it
yeah,
looks like because the first 2 days sort of stayed the same
yep,
as a Saturday of this year, but on the Sunday
they just,
they increased. So
yeah,
Linda
good
St.
job.
Hilaire and Dr. Forsyth are,
Yeah. Well,
they were a draw.
my friend Aaron LeBlanc has a lot to do with that club and good work. Good
Good,
work.
excellent.
Yes. And that was across Canada, presented to you by Show Scene Magazine. Show Scene, where every dog takes center stage.
Huh. And up next, we have upcoming shows driven by Canuck Dogs, your source for Canadian canine event information online.
And we've got quite a few shows. We're getting into it, man. We're getting into it. So we'll try and do this quickly. St. Francis Kennel and Obedience Club in Brome, Quebec, and that's June 12th through the 15th for all breed shows and limited breed shows for 1, 3, 6, and 7. We have a variety of judges, Jeremy Brown, Catherine Grant, Patricia Langto, Pierrette McLean,
Perry
Manuel,
McLean.
Perry McLean. I know. Manuel. Well, you get mad at me because I always throw my little accent on it, but I really can't say them unless I do that. I don't even know how to say his last name. Manuel Cuero?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sure, okay. From Mexico, and Glenn Stark, friend of the show from Ontario as well.
Yeah.
And there's some specialties there. The Golden Retriever Club of Canada National is there. Well, that'll be interesting. And the show secretary is Diana Edwards, show services. And the closing date is coming up May 27th, which is a Tuesday. Then we go on to the Yukon Kennel Club, June 13th through the 16th in Whitehorse, Yukon. Have you ever been to any of those shows, Will?
Oh, I wonder what kind of entry they get up there.
I don't know. I would just want to go to the Yukon, to be quite
Yeah,
honest with
me too. I'd love to go up
you.
there, and I would love to travel up there.
Because you know the
Now,
other thing I always wanted to do was take one of those, like everyone goes, go on a cruise, go on a cruise. You know what kind of cruise I want to go on? I want to go on the Alaskan cruise. That's the kind of
um,
cruise I want to go
me
on.
too. I'd like to do a seminar up in Alaska at some
Yeah.
point. I, I've talked to some friends that are up there and see if they can get me up there because I'd love to. I'd love
Yeah.
to go up there, but I'd love to
Yes.
go to Whitehorse too. I'd love to. I'd
Yeah.
just like to travel and see our country. That's a huge panel they have too.
Yeah. So they have 8 all breed shows, and that's 2 shows a day,
Yep.
and 4 rally obedience trials. So for confirmation, they have David Denis, Terry Gaines, Carol Graham, Darrell Heck, Joy Hodgkinson, Diane Ivy, Judy McVeigh, Joanne Pavey, friend of the show. So that's just awesome. And that show secretary is Arctic Dream Show Services, and they close on Wednesday, May 28th. So that's also coming up
Yeah.
quickly. And then we have Ontario County and
I was on a
Orange.
panel with Joanne Peavy a while back. We had so much fun together.
She is
She's so
fun.
great.
Yeah,
She's
she is
great.
super fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ontario County Kennel Club, and that's June 13th through the 15th in
Or
Orono.
no.
There's just a lot of O's in that name. Orono.
Or no. Or no.
Orono, Ontario.
Yeah.
That's 3 all breed shows and limited breed shows for 1, 5, and 7. In confirmation, we have Robert Denis from Ontario, Dominic Fierto from Quebec, Gordon Hayburn from Ontario. Oh, here we go. Ramoon Klazlutkate from Lithuania.
Lithuania. Very nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that. I enjoy speaking to those foreigner judges because I really like to hear the differences, in dogs, and they see so many different breeds than we do, right?
Yeah, and they
Um,
see things differently. They have to adjust their eye when they come to us.
yes,
Um, just because, let's face it, the dogs evolve differently in different countries.
they do.
And what I wish the CKC would do for judges like this is I wish they had a presence at the dog show that would sit down and give them a tutorial before about how our shows
Yeah,
work and how
yeah.
and like because it's probably better now, but I remember when I was younger showing dogs, we would get foreign judges in, and they in their country they don't have champion classes in a lot of these
No.
countries, so
Yep.
they think they're exhibition only. So some of the top dogs in the country weren't even being looked at for best of breed, and they were choosing the winner's dog or winner's bitch for best of breed because they
Yeah.
didn't realize that
Yeah.
they were allowed to
There's a
include those
special
in the
class.
competition. Yes.
Exactly. So, but it's yeah, their perspective is very different, but it's very fascinating all the same, right?
Well, they try. I think a lot of them now try to adjust their eye to our
Mhm.
dogs,
Our
but
style.
it's hard on them sometimes.
Oh,
They're
it would
very
be
different. So
like trying to adjust what you have in your mind. I mean,
yeah,
it would be just as hard for us to go over there and not, right? Because we're
oh
gonna
for
think we're gonna
sure.
see what we're used to seeing, and you don't, and you have to realize that it's a different, concept
And the
sometimes.
presentation is different. Like now, I think the presentation is getting pretty universal. You look at some of the pictures on Facebook, and these dogs across the world are
Yeah.
presented like top notch.
Yeah.
I think actually Facebook has helped that because it's made the world
Mhm.
smaller.
Yeah, it has made the world smaller in that
Yeah.
regard for sure.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Go
So
on.
we're also there is Thomas Nesbitt and Sean Shields, both from Ontario. The Canadian Bloodhound Club has their both a national and a regional specialty, and that show secretary also is Diane Edwards. Show services and closes on the Wednesday, May 28th as well. Then all the way out to BC, Black Creek, BC to be specific, we have the Comox Valley Kennel Club, June 14th through the 16th. Three all breed shows and limited breed shows for groups 3 and 5. And judging there, we have Wendy Anderson from Newfoundland, Patricia Cummins from
He's a
BC.
busy lady.
Yeah. And Bob and Elaine Whitney from Ontario,
Yeah.
and Linda Magnuson from British Columbia. And they have their junior zones that weekend as well.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, and that's the Classic Show Services. And that closes also on May the 28th. And then we also have the following, I believe that's the following weekend. Yep. Nanaimo Kennel Club, June 19th through to the 22nd in Nanaimo, BC. And that's outdoor show. Megan put that was an outdoor show.
Yep. This.
They would go outside by now. 4 all breed confirmation shows. So we have Paul and Jean Lawless from Kilkenny County, Ireland.
Yes.
Yep.
Paul Lawless, friend of the show. I
Yeah.
was on a panel with Paul, and he is so much fun to be around. He
Yeah.
really
He was
is.
saying that. Yeah.
And I interviewed him afterwards, and we ate. We just got along great. Yeah, he actually gave me that Irish Kennel Club coin up there, if you can see it.
Oh,
I was
yes.
stupid
Yes.
going up
He
there.
was with me for
But
that
yeah,
way.
no,
I'm not
he was a lot of fun, Paul.
Yeah.
And I haven't met Jean, but I'm sure she must be a very patient lady.
Also at this show is Ainsley Mills from BC, Robert Parrish, BC as well.
Roberta
Glenn,
Parrish.
Roberta Parrish. Glenn Stark from Ontario, Valerie Ramsey from BC, and Lisa Tremblay from BC as well. And there's specialties for the toy group. And that's the Classic Show Services is the show secretary and closing on Wednesday, May the 28th. And we have our last show here is Prairie Canine Academy, June 20th through the 22nd in Balgony, Saskatchewan.
Could be
And
PCA.
what's that?
That could be PCA,
It
Prairie
could be
Canine
PC,
Academy.
PCA, our own PCA.
PCA.
Anyhow, they have 6 all breed shows. Jeremy Brown, Carol Gray, Joy Lynn Huntley, Veronica Mercer, Cheryl Patterson, Joanne Pavey, all from Ontario,
And
and
Darrell Heck,
Andrea Robinson and Darrell Heck from Alberta, and Mary White from Ohio.
friend of the show, Mary
Mary
White,
White, she
Ohio.
she used to be Canadian.
She's still
She's
Canadian.
still Canadian. And they have the Prairie Australian Shepherd Enthusiasts, an ASCA confirmation show for Australian Shepherds. And that stands for the Australian Shepherd Club of America.
How
Even though
enthusiastic do you have to be to join the enthusiasts?
I would think you'd have to have, there must be a test.
There must be a test. You're not, you
Must be
don't
a
have enough
level.
enthusiasm. You'll have to come back and try again.
You have to
Thanks
like
for
come
coming
in
out.
doing a cheer. Ooh, brr,
We
it's
love.
cold in here. There must be some toros in the atmosphere. I said, ooh, that was just for you, Colin and Megan. Anyhow, back to
Anyhow,
back to what we're supposed to be doing. The show
back to our
secretary,
regularly scheduled program.
the show secretary for that show is Karen Fairbairn, and the closing date is Thursday, May 29th, at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And those upcoming shows were brought to you by Connect Dogs, your source for Canadian canine event information online.
Excellent. Oh, I just
And then
lost
we
it.
have then we have some quick closings coming up because they're coming up next week for sure. Reminders for closing: the Thunder Bay Kennel and Training Club in Shunya, which is just outside of Thunder Bay. The show secretary is Sue Lemieux, and it closes on May 21st, which is Wednesday. That's a Wednesday. And I just want to let everyone know too, and see, and I think we should do this more. We're actually having a sanction match the weekend right before this show at that location because it's a new location for us here in Thunder Bay. So come out to the sanction match, get
Someone, come on.
get a feel for the grounds, see what's there to, what kind of setup that we've got that they have there, and you'll be more prepared and you'll have a much more enjoyable weekend. So just to let you know. Then also we have Lakes District Kennel Club, which is in Burns Lakes, BC. Show secretary is Arctic Dreams Show Services. They close also on Wednesday, May 21st. And then the South Shores Kennel Club in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. Show secretary is Colin Vinot, and they also close on Wednesday, May 21st.
Very good. And that brings us to this week's topic, brought to
Mhm.
us by Canadian Dog Fancier, a weekly summary of purebred dog events across North America. So, last week's question of the week was,
What?
what can the parent clubs, AKC and CKC, do to increase registration? And we got an overwhelming response.
We
And
did. We had
we
lots.
did. And that's what overwhelming means, unless it was underwhelming. But yeah, so we're gonna go through some of them. We can't go through all of them because it's only an hour show. But
Yep.
let's begin.
Okay, so Mary Lorraine Carlson Perrier, Mary Perrier,
Yeah,
she
friend
said,
of the show.
friend of the show, and she had some very good points, and she actually put them in point
She
form.
did, my
She
lord.
did. So first of all, she said education and outreach, increase public awareness of the benefits of registration, including access to events, pedigree documentation, and breed preservation. Two, breeder incentives, offer discounts or perks to breeders who register litters early or consistently.
Yeah,
Three,
that was a consistent answer actually.
yes, that was. Three, streamline online registration. Simplify and modernize the online registration process for both breeders and owners. And it has improved a ton,
It
that's for
has,
sure.
and we're gonna find out. Well, carry on.
Yeah, but it has improved a ton, so that is something they are working on. Number four, promotional campaigns. Collaborate with dog influencers, pet stores, and vet clinics to promote the value of registering a purebred dog. I think that's really important
Yeah,
because
it is, and now with today's social media, influencers, pet stores, and whatnot, it's really important. Like it's a
very,
long reach.
yes,
It really
exactly.
is.
Yep. Five, youth engagement. Launch youth programs and junior memberships to build interest in dog sports and responsible ownership. Another very valid point. I know
That
that.
is so interesting. I interviewed Gina Weiser this week, and she's on the junior committee for PCA, and she was going on about how they have the junior handlers come in and do a seminar. It's like an hour and a half seminar, and what they do after the seminar is they have a trivia contest of all the answers they just learned in the past hour and a half,
Oh, really?
and they offer prizes to the ones that win. So it gives them incentive to pay attention, and
Yes.
it goes so it's overwhelming response apparently what they get there, the
Oh,
juniors at
that's
their
fantastic.
seminars. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
but
going to
you
talk to
can,
Gina more about that later on in one of our
oh, good.
future shows.
Oh,
So,
good. But I think that, yeah, we do need to engage the youth. We do
oh,
need
we do. We're an aging population.
very,
Like
very,
a lot of times I'm the youngest one on the panel, and that's not the best.
right? Um,
Especially when they ask me directions. Do you know where the bathroom is? No.
no.
No, I don't. I don't think there's one here.
Did Y come with me? I don't know. Number six, expand event access. Allow broader participation in events for registered dogs and promote them as family-friendly activities. I feel this is a really valid point too, because I think we need to look at more events, and I don't mean confirmation shows. I mean
No.
events, right?
Yes.
Um, seven, cross-registry cooperation. Work with other international or specialty registries to allow dual registration or simplified transfers. I think that's a very valid point as well. So
She
that
put
was
a lot of thought into her answer. Good for
she
you.
did. She did. If you know Mary, like when I was reading it
You
and then I
knew
realized
Mary
she
like I knew Mary.
Mary, yes. So yeah, good, very good job and like really good thoughts and
Oh no, she put a lot
yeah,
into it. We really appreciate it. Maybe we should
yeah,
put her on staff.
yes, we should.
Boris Pagan wrote, promote purebred dogs as heavily as crossbreds are promoted. They should have a special team and board for that, which should be very active, provide
Productive.
productive and smart with new media technology.
Yeah.
Did
Yep.
my break it up on you?
I got it. I got it. Elizabeth Millman, she said, make purebred
Malam,
dogs,
Elizabeth Hugo Malam.
Milan. Yes. Make purebred dogs cool again. There's a very strong undercurrent of anti-purebred sentiment that continues to spread. The
That's
notion
so
that,
true.
oh, it is. And the notion that a mixed breed is healthier needs to just go away. And there's not been a more valid statement, really. Not to mention the fabricated moral superiority that gets attached to people who rescue their pet dogs instead of purchasing from a high quality breeder.
He's good. Fabricated moral superiority. I love that.
It's so good. Um,
That is good.
it is. And then the adopt, don't shop rhetoric has done a lot of damage, and it has. It has done a
Well, they don't realize what they're getting.
no.
They
Yeah,
really don't.
they
Like
don't.
I'm
People
sure it
try.
works out once in a while, but overall, in the long run,
Yeah, yeah, it's very sad. People try their best to educate in the social media postings, but the big kennel clubs really should be doing a whole lot more in terms of ad campaigns, public relations, and so forth. And that's a thought that I've had about it is that to like if you're going to be a club, any sort of club, and you're recognized by the CKC as a club, maybe that should be like a requirement to be a breed club of any sort, all breed or specialty, is that you must have an educational event every year for the public. And it
mm,
doesn't have to be, it not has to be a show, but it could be like a
no.
fun match or a trick show or something like I was
Even as
thinking,
even as things easy as a meet and greet, like
yeah, yeah, or meet the breeds or whatever, but it should
yeah,
be like there should be something so that you keep drawing in the public. And if you do it, whether it's in relation to your dog show or on a different weekend, because there's a lot of like I know here in Thunder Bay, our summertime, there are tons of festivals and activities you can do. You can contact any one of those festivals and say, "Hey, this is my group. This is what we do, and we'd like to, do this. Can we have a booth space or whatever?" And you can go and, create interaction with people, and
yeah.
we'd be far better off, in my
Well, there's no
opinion.
question. And the awareness of purebred dogs, they need to realize, like if you look back in the history of our sport, back in the pre pre 50s even,
Yeah.
dog show wins were in New York Times, Toronto Star. They were
Yes.
posted like they became somewhat like celebrities, like racehorses.
Yeah.
And I'm even later on in the 70s and 80s at shows like the Metropolitan and whatnot, they would have these dogs on display for the public to see.
Yeah.
And like they would say, like even as later on as Miss P, we had lots of offers for Miss P to show up at events just because she was Miss P from Westminster.
Yeah,
We showed up at the Don Cherry Pet Rescue once just
yeah.
because they advertised that she was going to be there, and we got pictures taken. People came and got the pictures taken with Miss P. We went to Ronald McDonald House. We did all kinds of things, and it was wonderful. You know, so I think that needs to happen more. I really do.
You just gave me an idea.
Good.
I wrote it down. So,
All right.
what else do we have here? Oh, Catherine Baptiste Laz. Uh,
Yes.
she says this is an unpopular opinion, but we'll read this. AKC should take a more active role in governing the parent clubs. While the model that is currently in place worked at the inception of these clubs, many of them have become nothing more than a mini Game of Thrones. These clubs should be the gateway for new exhibitors to seek mentorship, community, and support. It's hard to foster that in any environment driven by the egos of a collective few. This is the case with many clubs. So many lawsuits, complaints, and waste that is beyond the scope of their charters. AKC needs to take the lead back. Even when you have a board that has good intentions and the skill set to lead, they often get bogged down by personal politics. It's a challenging environment to operate in. That's very true.
It's true, and like she was great the way she described it, like Game of
Yeah.
Thrones. But it's like anything else, any board, egos get in the way,
Oh, they do.
and it's amazing. Like in America, they have show clusters where three different clubs will get together and they'll have a weekend of the cluster, and then they'll lose one of the clubs, and it's because an ego got in the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And egos, people have to put that aside and think
Yeah.
about the betterment of the sport and deal with their egos on their own time.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
not like me, I don't have an ego at all, so it's just easier to get through life.
How you weren't struck by lightning, I don't know. But anyway, carry on.
My friend
Um,
Arvin Braganka, have a bred by competition equivalent to the novice owner handler or greater. Then the focus will be on production and registration. I mean, that's a good point. I like the novice owner handler series, though. They have really upped their game, but I understand the bread buy would be important too.
yeah.
Later on, Arvid also said, where did his second? Because his second one was very good as well.
Oh, here oh,
AKC could There it is. AKC could remove the co-ownership rule for the bred by exhibitor class. Let breeders show the dogs they sold for owners. It is the bred by exhibitor class. We talked about this beforehand.
yeah.
It's the bred by. It's not shown by the owner of the. No, it's the bred by
Bred by.
exhibitor.
Yeah.
You would see a flux of entries and new people coming to watch their companions. That is how the spark started for many years ago. That's a
Exactly.
great point. A great point. And the bred by exhibitor class, that's exactly what it states. It's bred by the exhibitor. It's not sold by, it's
Yeah.
bred
Bred
by
by.
the
Yeah.
exhibitor. So it's important. I have to back up now. I'm sorry.
That's
I jumped
okay.
ahead to Arvin's. But
Um, no,
go ahead.
I've got one here. Candace Sullivan, making owning a purebred dog cool again. This making owning a purebred dog cool again. There were several people that said that, and it struck me as like, yeah, it's
It
not as
is cool.
cool.
Like it's
It's
not like
totally cool. I
yeah.
like ask Carolyn how cool it is. She walks Fanny out at the
Oh,
golf course here across the street from our office, and there's always people that are like, "Oh my God." They stop her and tell her how beautiful her dog is, and she's like, "I know,
yeah, I know.
I know."
And it was just
Yeah,
for some reason they feel the designer dogs are the same way and ups their
yeah, crazy.
social
Yeah,
grace,
standing.
social
Yes,
standings. But if you look back, you look at even Queen Elizabeth. What did she have? Corgis
corgis.
and Labradors,
Yep,
both purebred dogs.
exactly,
So raise your
exactly.
social ranking to that level.
Yeah, everybody get a corgi and a lab.
I don't think she was going to have a designer dog.
No, not at all. Ooh, that'd be preposterous. Anyway,
Yes. In
we
Canada, you
need
say? Pity.
yes, and I like it too.
Where's your dog show
Okay.
drive mug?
Oh,
Anyways.
okay. I got my shirt on. Okay, so Candace
But
also said
hey,
we need a national media and
family
marketing.
show.
We need a national media and marketing blitz and prolonged campaign. And this is true. Show happy celebrities, famous athletes enjoying life with their purebred dogs. Show
Oh,
purebred dogs doing the things they were bred to do and how these skills are used to assist loving owners in their day to day lives to make life better. The goal is to undo the stigma damage animal rights activist groups have done to responsible dog ownership and responsible dog breeding. And she finishes with shelters are not full of well-bred dogs. It's responsible owners, irresponsible owners, commercial breeders, and backyard breeders who do that. And you and I've had this conversation. If you ask me to go to a dog show or go to a field trial, I'd well rather go to a field trial because that stuff is so cool to me. I mean,
yeah.
maybe not if you said the garden or a field trial, but I would rather go and watch.
Dog shows are cool too, though.
Well, dog shows are cool, but they might not be for everybody. But to actually see what that dog is bred to do, though, it gives me goosebumps every time.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
to watch how fast whippets and greyhounds can go, like on those lure coursing, and how they don't break their legs is beyond me. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's so cool.
Well, and we're talking about like celebrities with their dogs and whatnot. Think about all the presidents that had dogs. Think about Lyndon Johnson with his Scotties, Barack Obama with his Portuguese water dogs, Richard Nixon, I don't know, Richard Nixon, but Irish setters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it
Exactly.
just goes on and on. What is
Yeah.
um
Yeah, he don't
I
have a
don't
dog.
pardon?
He don't have a dog.
No. But there's a lot of people
Anyway,
and Paul McCartney had only sheepdogs, like
yeah. Yeah.
purebred
And
dogs.
Martha Stewart, she had Chow Chows.
Chow Chows. I always saw her at the garden every couple of years.
Yeah,
And the garden you'd see, I saw JFK Jr., I saw Rod Stewart, I saw um, all kinds of people in the garden that are there to support purebred dogs because
yeah,
they have purebred
yep,
dogs. So
exactly.
anyway,
Oh, then Lynn Meyer. Um,
well, friend of the show, Lynn Meyer.
Lynn Meyer. She said, I belong to the Tibetan Terrier Club of America. The national club's breeder referral list has only 6 breeders listed. Of those 6 breeders, I would guess they have had 10 litters in the past 5 years. So if a potential puppy buyer does the right thing and goes to the parent club website, they are very likely no breeders listed in their state. These potential buyers will go elsewhere. Maybe do a Havanese or a Lhasa if we're lucky, or maybe a Doodle. Breeder clubs should be promoting their breed and the people who breed them enough of the exclusivity.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and that comes from Lynn Meyer, who she's an AKC field
Rep.
rep, so she
Mhm.
sees everything.
Yeah.
Talking about AKC and Parent Club, our next up we have John Atkinson, who is
Yes.
Director of Advocacy and Communications for the CKC, and he's going to answer a bunch of these questions. I know he is,
Yeah.
so I was there already. Anyway, here's John from the CKC. Hi, Bernie. And as promised, now we have John Atkinson, Director of Advocacy and Communication for CKC. And John's going to give us updates on what's been going on with our club. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm fine, fine. Will, it's nice to finally get on your show and be able to hopefully provide some updates. And I listen to the podcast every once in a while, so nice to join you. Thanks for
Excellent.
having me.
Well, I'm glad to have you on. We've been talking a bit about this, so I'm glad that it worked out. And we're going to have you on hopefully every once in a while just to give us updates what the CKC's up to and keep our listeners informed anyway.
Great.
So, so what do you have for us, John?
What do I have? Well, there's always something, something cooking at CKC. Lots going on. And always in support of the community, right? Our members are the reason why we're here and, why we have a mission and our members, but also obviously purebred dogs.
Sure.
So, do you want to know what's cooking in the kitchen? I can share a little bit, a couple of
Please.
things anyway. So why don't I start by talking a little bit about our integrated breed health program.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about it. It's been Since 2022, 2023, it started. So the board of directors identified that breed health and breeder support was a strategic pillar for CKC. And so it started up that way, and it's been kind of slowly growing, gaining momentum. And so we're now at a place where we really want to engage members about the program so people know more about it and talk about it with CKC, share their feedback, their fears, their concerns, so that it actually can be a benefit to our member breeders and help them in their breeding programs, whether big, small, or any size in between. So so we have a few new things that I can tell you about.
Please.
Feel free to stop me at any time. So maybe the first thing I'll say is that we have on May 21st, so coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, myself and the Breeder Relations Committee will be giving an update on the program, and also have an opportunity to ask that our members can ask questions, get answers, clarification.
Now, will it be a Zoom? Will it be a Zoom meeting?
It'll be a Zoom meeting. In person would be so much nicer, but
Oh,
with
for sure. But
all of Canada, that's kind of the best way we can get everybody, as many people together as possible. But we're also hoping to break into small groups, so breakout groups, so that folks can we'll give an update. People can gather in small groups on Zoom, discuss, the program updates, share their feedback, what they're concerned about, what they like, those kinds of things, and then share that back in the larger groups. So, it's like a town hall, but also a bit of a workshop.
Will the link be available on the website? Is that where we'll find it?
Okay. Yeah, we sent it out on social media, I think last week or the week before, as well as email to all members, and we'll send a reminder as well. But
I need reminders.
I need reminders too. Yeah, more and more as I get older. So if I can tell you a little bit about what we'll be covering. So the program itself has 5 pillars. And again, I think we have to do a better job at kind of socializing this and raising folks' awareness about them. But the 5 pillars, they include breeder education. So that's providing kind of science-based, latest and greatest in best practices in breeding. Breeder community support. So that includes things like strengthening our code of ethics, or our member code of practice, updating the puppy list and kind of shifting the puppy list to a breeder's list instead of a puppy list. Providing number 3 is breed health strategies. So going back a couple of years ago, we started working with the national breed clubs and really had them, as well as looking at kind of international other kennel clubs, to recommend kind of the top health tests that they recommend for each breed. And so that's number 3. Number 4 is a DNA program. So that's been a long time coming with the AKC, talking to them about providing both parentage, so DNA profiling, as well as genetic health testing for our members. And then the last one is a breeder recognition program. So that's one that really elevates and promotes breeders who take a number of steps, what people are already doing in terms of health testing, having the DNA done on their dogs, those kinds of things, and then setting them aside on our website and really even promoting them. So
that's a great idea.
Yeah,
that's a great
idea. So that's kind of the 5 pillars, and obviously there's a lot of details in all of those, which we'll get into in the town hall.
The recognition's a great idea, but there's so many. It'll be a great guide for people looking, because it's so easy to be sucked into, oh, look how cute that puppy is, and then trouble follows, right? So
yeah, and we did a member engagement survey back in December. I don't know if you remember seeing it. We had almost 3,500 members respond.
That's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty big. I spent a long time analyzing it. So each question had 80 to 100 pages of
Oh,
responses.
wow.
Yeah, and our members, I'm super grateful because our members really took the thought and time to respond thoughtfully with suggestions and what our priorities should be. But one of the biggest things that our members said was, CKC needs to do more in terms of raising the awareness with the public about purebred dogs.
Exactly.
Yeah, raising the awareness about our member breeders and what sets us aside, and what's a responsible breeder, versus someone on Kijiji who,
Cute puppy.
cute puppy,
Yeah.
$600, get it tomorrow,
Yeah.
and and I think it's all about this kind of instant. We're in a culture of instant reward and gratification, and people can order things online and have it
Oh,
within 24 hours. So, trying to shift people's awareness and hopefully attitudes towards health, right? And having a sound, well bred dog from a reputable breeder, that's the goal. So, a breeder recognition program really helps shift that conversation. And then we need to do more, obviously, with our members' help, to raise the profile of our members and what we do and why purebred dogs are healthy, well-tempered, well-bred and cared for dogs that every family would want to have in their home as their family pet. Yeah, we have a lot of work to do, but
that's a great start though, because we do need that. I don't know if you noticed, this week's question of the week was pertaining to registrations, and so many are what the CKC or AKC could do, and a lot of it did involve breeder recognition to the public. So, and purebred dogs up front. So that was
absolutely.
good.
Yeah. If you look at, so this leads to one of our projects that we just restarted, a new refreshed CKC.ca. If you look at other kennel clubs, I love if you've looked at the Australian Kennel Club, they have a really great. It's just really geared for the public. And so if you're looking not only for a puppy or a breeder in the a reputable breeder, it really positions their breeders and the health of their dogs as something to really seek and want, so desire, while also having a nice section for their members. So
Yeah.
I think our current website is, it tries to do everything and could use some help. So I'd love to see a future, or not love to, we will see a future where our website is geared towards the public, so that it's the source for dogs.
Yeah.
They're looking for that information or looking to find a reputable breeder, and also a source for our members where they can find all the information they need.
That's the right track. Good.
Yeah. So that's that.
Yep.
So May 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Zoom, and it will be interactive and engaging, and we won't just be giving a presentation. So
All right. Excellent.
yeah. What else can I tell you? How about our annual general meeting?
Sounds good.
Yeah, most people hear AGM or meeting and they don't get excited. So
It's true. I hate to
right,
say it.
right.
Yeah.
Who wants to spend their Saturday looking at audited financial statements? However, the auditor would be kicking me under the table right now. But it's important that our members know what's going on with the club.
Understand. Right.
Not just financially, obviously, to know how we're doing and how we're spending, the funds that come to us through things like registration or events or those kinds of things. I think that's important, but also to hear about what's happening coming up, what some of the major accomplishments were last year,
I think that's important. Prior accomplishments, they need to know more of what actually is happening there and what's happened there. So
Yeah.
I really think that's important.
Yeah, and I think, we do our best to try and share out information frequently and a lot, but there's a lot of information, and people aren't, and we don't all have time to read CKC emails every single day, so you don't always catch everything. So it's another opportunity where we can share kind of the latest and greatest, but also what's coming up. So that's an opportunity. And then there's two kind of really exciting things. One is we have Dr. Allison Skipper. She is a veterinarian research advisor from the Kennel Club, or the Royal Kennel Club, as they soon, I guess they announced the new name, but they haven't officially changed. Anyway, so she'll be coming and sharing some research she did from the early 1900s on the breed registries for what in the UK they called pedigree dogs, what they looked like at the time, and what they talked about concepts like good blood and good breeding and what that meant at the time. And I think a lot of folks think that their registries were closed, like closed stud books, and so she learned some really interesting things about the breeding practices and the stud books, and whether they were closed or partially, like were there exceptions to the closed registries. So very interesting research findings about our traditions
And how far back is that going?
1910.
Wow, that would
Yeah.
be interesting because I bet you there are some interesting practices. So,
Yeah, I think she was sifting through, very yellowed books and papers and like clippings of, certain breeders and their names and their dogs and how they were linked to others. Like it was a lot of, anyway, super interesting findings. And then she's going to be able to parlay that, say, okay, here's what history tells us. What does that mean for today and the future of breeding? Breed health and kind of the sustainability and preservation of our breeds, which we're all about, right?
that'll be interesting because, yeah, you hear stories from back then about the practices, and they weren't always up front. So it'll be interesting to see what she finds. So,
Yeah. I mean, there's like, I think theory guided breeding versus science, like what people's thoughts or theoretical approaches to good breeding meant, and good blood, and healthy blood versus bad blood, and so
yeah.
right, like it's a lot of
Oh,
like,
for sure. Yeah.
I think people were guessing or theorizing about what was the best thing to do. So, but really, really interesting stuff, and I think she's obviously at the Kennel Club, so what her research is, what she's learned, she's trying to bring to their Kennel Club and their practices. So yeah, very interesting. I think be interesting to say, okay, what does this mean for Canada and the
Yeah.
Canadian Kennel Club community, and our breeding moving forward? Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun. Any news on the CEO front?
News on the CEO. Well, I can tell you, so we have a member communication going out this week. So we don't have a new CEO or executive director yet, but the board and the selection committee is working with an executive recruitment firm, and the search continues. So, I think it's important to find the right person with the right skill set, that can really help, continue momentum and, what the future should look like for our community. So their search continues, and in the interim, Corrine, our board director, and the board will work with myself and the other directors, to make sure that things continue to operate smoothly in the interim. Yeah.
Oh, good, excellent.
Yeah. I think that's probably good. Oh, there is one thing I can
All right.
say, that we are going to announce the breeder recognition program, so its name and what's included and the benefits to our member breeders at the AGM this year. So if you'd like to find out what it's all about, all the details will be revealed at the AGM.
Oh, good. So when you say reader recognition, is that going to be recognition on the website, or what are they planning on doing? How is it just going to be a list of approved readers, or how is that going to be recognized?
Yeah, good question. So right now we have a puppy list, although, when you go on the puppy list, there aren't a lot of puppies. It's more breeders, right? Our member breeders. So we'll still have a listing of breeders on the website, but the breeder recognition program will be those breeders that meet a number of health related kinds of measures. So I mentioned some of them, doing DNA testing, doing the recommended health testing on their breeding stock, on the dams and sires that they're breeding, those kinds of things. Obviously, being a up-to-date CKC member, but we also have. I don't know if you've seen it, the Royal Canadian Academy. We partnered with them. Previously developed a set of educational courses, online courses, and so completing some of those courses will be part of it. And then what it will actually look like is when you come to the new website, you will see the breeder recognition program and the breeders listings right on every breed page. And so, you go to, well, you're a beagle, you're a beagle man, right? So you go to Beagle and you learn about beagles, and then at the bottom, you would actually, based on where you live in Canada, you would see the breeder, the recognized breeders for beagles on that page. And then you can click on each of those breeders, and those breeders who are part of the program would get their own breeder profile page. And so, which they'd be able to populate. So they would have badges for the things that they've accomplished, how long they've been a member, the health testing they do, their story, why they breed, their pictures of themselves and their dogs, other things they do in the dog community, and have a really nice landing page for their.
That's good. That'll be good recognition for them. Excellent.
Yeah, and then we'll promote it. So,
yeah.
When you're searching in Google, when people are searching for dogs or breeders, our goal will be that in the future, through investing and promoting, that the result of the breeder recognition program will pop up. And so, I'll reveal I won't, but we'll reveal the name at the AGM and all the kind of the details of it then.
Oh, good. That's a good update, John. Thank you.
Yeah, no
You got a lot in there.
That's right. Boy, does this guy talk a lot, right? Yeah.
Well, you got a lot in there. It was good. It was excellent.
Good. I'm glad.
Right,
and I really look forward to joining again, Will, and sharing some updates.
Excellent. We'll definitely do that, and we'll figure out a time slot for you and just keep it going. So
awesome. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you, John. It's great seeing you.
Yeah, good seeing you too. See ya.
And we're back. Thank you, John. And did not John answer a lot of those questions that we were just
Wow, that was a lot of information in that short period of time. And the one thing I'm going to definitely try and do is perhaps join the annual general meeting. And
that's a good idea, yeah.
Because he said no one wants to sit and listen to an audit. You're wrong, John. I like that. I like sitting and listening to audits.
There are some people out there, yeah.
Well, weirdo herself. I'll be sitting there listening.
But they tend to like the response they do get, and generally they're getting a pretty good response considering,
Yeah, right? Like that last survey he said, that was impressive.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And then he went on about the new projects and the breeder recognition. That is what they're asking for. So
yep.
I think that's a great step, and I'm looking forward to have John on again on the show as well. So
yeah, that would be great to get regular updates.
Yeah, to give us updates on the CKC.
Perfect. Yes.
So what do we have next? We have this week's question of the week.
Brought to you by ProPlan.
Oh no, we missed something, didn't we?
What did we miss? No, we didn't.
Bench and
no, we're gonna do our question of the week, and then we go to the bench.
Okay, you're right. I see. Okay.
Yep.
I just thought question of the week was at the end.
Follow the script. Anchorman.
Ron Burgundy, poop mouth.
Pirate hooker. Anyway,
Anyway.
so
you,
the
Ron? True.
question of the week brought to you by Pro Plan. Fuel the champion in your dog. And the question of the week, Will, what is it?
Could the Canadian Kennel Club benefit from introducing a novice owner handler series similar to the one offered by the AKC? And then has gone like when it first came out down there, the groups weren't as strong as we all wanted to. But now I have judged a few best in shows down there, novice owner handler, and one of my best in shows winner was, excuse me, one of my best in show winners was the Australian Shepherd from Crufts.
Nice.
Yeah, and another one was a Yorkie that won the American National Specialty.
Very good.
Black and Tan Coonhound who won the American National Specialty. Like there are some serious dogs in that series now. So
That's cool. That's cool.
It
It
really
has
is
come a
cool.
long way because it was kind of, the owner handler series was
Oh, when it started off, yeah, it was like, oh, no,
the big
I think
eye
it was that.
roll.
Well, I think some of the dog people with competitive dogs were like, I don't want to compete in there. Then they started seeing, then they started getting more and more competitive. Certain people were joining, and now
Yeah.
it's extremely competitive.
Yeah, which is great.
Like, yeah, sometimes I'll walk in there watching the rings. I don't know if I'm watching the real group or the owner handler group. That's how strong they're getting. So
Yeah. Yep, exactly. So
that'll
that
be
is,
interesting what response we get this week from that.
yes, because there's a lot. People are there is a lot of opinions about that
Oh,
whole,
there is. Yeah.
novice owner handler. And I still do not know what, where I sit on that as of yet either. But I haven't been in the States a lot to take notice of a lot of those
Yeah.
groups. So
I think it's going to be, I think it would be a good idea. I think it'll strengthen those breeds because I think they'll want to get more competitive. And I think it'll help the clubs and the parent club. So
yeah. Yep.
I think it's a win-win situation. I really do.
Mhm.
And I think that the board should look into it. And I know it's been broached to them, and a lot of it's been just brushed away, I think. But I think it's a good idea to take another look.
Okay.
Take another
So
look.
so
Come out with
when
an open mind, really,
okay, I'll keep an open mind.
You don't see the negative and just try to
Yeah.
stick with the
Yeah.
positive, as Mr. Eldridge always taught me.
Yes. So make sure you hit up the Facebook page to give us your opinion and yeah, join the Facebook page if you haven't already. Tell your friends
Tell your
and
friends.
tell your friends.
Yeah.
So that is the question of the week, and it is powered by ProPlan. Fuel the champion within your dog. And now we are very happy to announce a new little feature that we thought of the other day.
Yeah.
It's called From the Kennel and Bench. And these are
Oh, I thought we
from
were doing the tight pants feature. Got my tight pants.
Pants
Got my
on,
tight pants
tight
on.
pants on. I don't think anyone wants to see us in tight pants.
No.
I don't want to see us in tight
I
pants.
don't know where
Well,
that came from. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know.
Anyway, go on.
So what we thought with because I don't know why I do this sometimes, but as we know, I get down these little rabbit holes when I'm searching for something on the internet, and then I go to something completely different. Instead of working, I go and search archives. On the CKC website is the old Kennel and Bench, and I was going through stuff, and I kind of like hit on the year that we started showing dogs, or just about a year or so after we had just started showing dogs. So it's a little excerpt, and I read this article, and I laughed because the more things change, the more they stay the same. So did you want to read this, Will?
Go ahead, but I'm just telling you right now, Doc is knocking on the door about our time. So
All right. So this week we have the excerpt is from 1975 in the January edition, and it's called Match Time. And this is from Letters to the Editor. So a series of letters between a sanctioned match exhibitor and a novice judge have been appearing in a breed publication. Letter 1. The exhibitor rips the judge apart for overlooking her dog and the club for engaging
a
said
sanction
judge.
match.
This is at a sanction match, right? Letter 2. The judge, needlessly, defends his ability and his decision. And so so it goes. Also serious and bitter that one wonders how far out of perspective this sanction match thing has strayed. Let's review a bit. A well known handler once said without malice that sanctioned matches are places where good dogs get beaten. Nevertheless, he showed good dogs at matches whenever he had the chance. Sometimes he won and sometimes he lost, but never did he hold a grudge. Like most experienced exhibitors, he realized that the gorgeous puppy flyer often grows into a dud. But he's done a lot of winning while he's young, while the late bloomers that didn't win many matches go right on getting better and eventually leave the once glamorous youngsters far behind them. Realistically, this handler regarded matches as training sessions for the young dogs and their handlers, aspiring judges, and very often young dog clubs. And that's what they're all about. Dress rehearsals for the real thing. When you relax and enjoy them, sanctioned matches can be fun.
Isn't that incredible? Because that could easily happen now on Facebook, but
Well,
at the real
exactly.
shows.
Like super
This just took
fast.
months for it to happen.
Months for this argument
Months.
to ensue, right? And the
He's him
rebuttal,
stewing. What's his answer going to be? Waiting a month for the answer.
right? So that would have been fantastic. But it's exactly the same. Like when you go even regarding dog shows, like if um you have to realize the atmosphere and the situation you're in. A sanction match is nowhere to, get so upset, or a sweepstakes, right? Like it's not to get upset about.
But
This is
people go there and
training
they're very
grounds.
competitive. I know, but
Yeah.
the competitive instinct kicks in, and there's the odd one that just
Yep.
they can't take it.
Yes.
Okay, I want you to do this next part. I was going to cut us short because Doc is knocking, but I want you to do this next part. I think this is important. So go ahead.
Okay, so the other thing that was in the Kellam bench was this. It was just a little article, and it hit home with me because it says, and from 1975, the June edition, this story: snowmobiler raises Easter seal funds. So from Thunder Bay, Ontario, not only is Fern Bodrug busy with her Dachshunds these days, for the past 3 years, she's been an avid snowmobiler who drives her own 40 horsepower machine. So when the Kiwanis Club in Thunder Bay held its Snoworama to raise funds for the Easter Seal campaign, Fern got busy soliciting friends and business people to sponsor her on the 100-mile snowmobile run. For an old lady, I drive a pretty powerful machine, said the 59-year-old grandmother, one of the few entrants and the only lady to complete the run, which was held in 35 below weather. That was a warm day. Fern is so pleased with the $1,321 she raised, as she promised herself that she would personally thank all of her sponsors. If it takes me a year to do it, she will do it. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. But this lady, I don't know who this woman was, but she had dachshunds, and I just, as a personal note, in our area, we lost a very prominent matron of our dog community, Brenda Flett. She passed away of Alzheimer's last week, and we were saying she was one of the first people we met when we started into dogs, and she was a trainer for the kennel clubs for years and years, and always had time for you, always was patient, and made you feel very welcoming into the community. And you wanted to participate, especially in her classes, because she was just a great lady. So my
Those
condolences
people
to
are so
her family.
great for our sport.
Yeah.
They really are, and we still have them out there. They're just
Yep.
they're not as plentiful as they were at one point, but
Yep.
I think they're still out there, and they're there to promote our sport and promote
Yep.
family activities at our dog shows. So,
Yeah.
and that was a good story, Mom. Thank you.
Yeah. So you can find the Kennel and Bench archives on the CKC portal under the resource publication history for the full archive from 1890 and onwards. And if you go on there
Mrs. Whitmore
yourselves,
probably wrote the first one.
and if you happen to go on there yourself and you find an article you would like to share with us, send it in to
Yes.
the dog show drive at gmail.com, and we will pull it up and have Megan do her thing with it, and we will discuss it on the show. So
Yeah.
that's that. So
Uh,
don't forget, click like and subscribe to the podcast, and check out our Facebook page, as we said, the Dog Show Drive Canadian Edition, and our TikTok account, the Dog
and
Show
we're
Drive.
soon going to have a merchandise page too. So
We are, because look, we
you
got
too can have
shirts
this beautiful merch.
and a cup.
It's like people just do things for their money. It's just not right.
Cha. Anyway.
Anyway, get us out of here. Why?
All right, for all those you driving to a show, flying, or however you get there, travel safe, seatbelts on, glasses on. Take care, everyone.
Waves in the sea. You show myself to me. You let me down easily. Oh, that's the way you come to me. I'm head over heels, and I'm always gonna be. That's okay. I love the way you come to me.
Head Over Heels, written by Jim Cuddy and Greg Keeler, and performed by Blue Rodeo.